deliberately on this segment. Anyway, welcome into Tony Talking Trash About Music. Back with Jay following last week's trek to Philadelphia, the Lincoln Financial Field, to see the Rolling Stones and their last extravaganza here, their big tour.
Latest.
There's been a little bit of drama too with this change in the set list and stuff, but tell me, Jay, we're following up with you now. Give us some impressions, and take us wherever you want to take us here with this thing, because you were the one that was there, and I'm just looking at the set list here.
Okay, well, if you've never seen the Stones, they're the Rolling Stones. Part of it's just the crowd. I mean, I went with my old college roommate and his wife and their daughter and her husband. We drove to Philly up from West Virginia. It's about 4.5 hours. Got an Airbnb in South Philly. We was under an overpass. Had to walk about 5 blocks, catch the BART, took it in. We were there and then out. Got there about 7. I actually had floor tickets on general admission floor, which the Stones had just started doing, which is really great. I bought my ticket actually walking over to the concert, which for an old fogey like me, before I'd always bought it on StubHub and they sent it right to your email. But this time I had to also sign up for the Ticketmaster app, so that was kind of funny. Me walking.
Man, I've learned now that if I'm going to go to any show with you, I'm going to have to buy the freaking tickets in advance, because you just always seem that on the day of the show, you want to wait till the day of the show. I guess because something could happen.
Well, for those big shows outside, they never sell out. Like the Clarks paid $500 a ticket. My tickets were much better than theirs, and I paid $160.
Wow.
And they never sell out. And and they also have what they call promo holds. Sometimes I've gone to the ticket booth the day of the show.
Yeah.
It's like what they have for the families.
They used to do that in Merriweather.
And you say they let them go about 4 or 5. And another thing they can do
every time
is the day of the show they can release handicap seats.
Right.
They can only sell them to bona fide handicap people to handicap seats. The only drawback to that is when you're sitting in those handicap seats, there's always Karens that are bitching at you. Because I've done that before.
Well,
but anyway.
What the advantage would be to that is you get one of those ones for the audio impaired, you can just plug your damn recording device directly into the board,
But, so let's get to the show. So we got there in a link, and it was, it was actually very easy getting in. You go, you show your phone. Nowadays, folks, you can't print it out. They don't want that anything. And it's kind of funny because the Stones have an older crowd. I saw more wheelchairs than I've ever seen at a concert. And,
wow.
So people are worried about their phone, but the ushers got you the right place. General admission, they scanned your phone. And I'm always nervous, and that scans are just going to say it's not working. But you scanned in, then you got a wristband. And went in, and I'm on the field. Kaleo opened up for them. They're on this Icelandic blues band, which was when I didn't think much of them until I found out they were from Iceland. Yeah, got to be big. And then you go in, and I was talking to Tony earlier. The Stone sets have changed. First time I saw them was '78, and I've seen about every tour since. But when they first came back with steel wheels, just the pageantry and all the stuff they had on the stage, and then Voodoo Lounge, and Bridges to Battle, Urban Jungle, to Blow Up Dolls. Now they do everything with video screens. So before the concert starts, you look at this stage, the
visuals aren't the same at all. The visuals are different, or they're more extensive?
I think they're better because the video screen can create anything.
You're not talking about like that shit the Dad's doing out there in Las Vegas.
But I mean, the video screen will show, like, Mick starts talking about the last time they played Philly. Boom, there's a poster of that show.
They put it right up.
Or in the songs, like the last time, or they didn't play that. They'll show old clips of them. Okay. But then they'll focus, have one whole thing on each band member.
He probably has somebody behind the scenes, that's hitting the hits.
Oh, yeah. But I just thought they're making even more money because that's got to be cheaper, doing it all video-wise.
Oh, my God.
Rather than, and they don't have the second stage anymore.
They have to be huge. Those video screens got to be just beyond belief size-wise.
And the crowd is just, the Rolling Stones are just so lucky that they got their audience early, and now those people are making money and coming because money was nothing to those people. I watched people like the Stone store had a line that was unreal, and there was only one where they sold their T-shirts, $50 a piece, $500 leather jackets, and they were flying off the shelves. Of course, I waited till afterwards and got the bootleg. Got 2 big bootleg shirts for $20, but that's just me. And then the show, it starts, it gets dark, boom, it's quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rolling Stones, and as much as that pisses me off when I knew they were going to open up with Start Me Up, it still hits you, man. Dang, it's just that the crowd roars, and there's so many people there that brought their kids, especially like there was more hot younger chicks there this concert than I'd probably seen since 1978. I saw one girl with her mom. Oh, I forgot to tell you
She's trying
this.
to look rock and roll, huh?
Oh my God, she had on sheepskin jacket. She was dressed as Nine. Her mom was kind of normal, and she looked just like Anita Pallenberg. When I walked by her and her mom, I'm just walking with a beer, and I just looked at this girl and I said, Anita Pallenberg. And as they went by, I heard her mom say, that's a compliment. So that was cool.
It sure is. Man.
So, you know, and I tell you what.
So what do you say?
The sound.
Yeah.
They sound great. They're a band. You know, it never sounds like I'm hearing the radio song.
Or program thing.
You know, I'm going over. Like, I've watched, like, videos. I've never been to see AC/DC, but it looks so boring to me. Because I even like heavy metal, but every song sounds like that song. And there's only the 3 members of the band, so there's really not, what else can they do?
There's not a lot of breath to what they're doing. They're
right, but the Stones, man, they got the horns, the backup singers, and yeah, sometimes they don't need them, but when they are cooking and playing, like I said, I mean, you have the set list if you want to go through the songs.
Yeah, let's go through it. But one thing you said a general thing about the set list to me before we started here, and that you had done a kind of a, you know, like you always do. And generally, you talk to a bunch of people that are around, and you don't find any newbies, so you wonder why the hell every time you go, these people go to see them, they don't try to put more deep cuts in the set proportionally. You know,
I mean, they've changed so much. Yeah, I think that's Jagger. I don't know. He just wants to play what goes over the best for everyone. He calculates this is everyone. Because I remember when I saw him in '78.
He's got the Mike Love factor.
My God, in '78, I was such a newbie Stones fan. I had to ask someone. They were playing All Down the Line, and I didn't know what song it was. I hadn't bought Exile yet. I probably had, you know, It's Only Rock and Roll, Gates Head, and then some girls.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the early ones. I hadn't caught up. But, yeah, that's what I meant. They play the hits. And if you've never seen the Rolling Stones, and another thing I think they might do it by is because all the younger people that come with their parents, those are the only songs they're going to know.
Okay.
But I tell you what, the older people there, that wasn't their first Stones show. I saw people with pins, and you heard them talking. 81 was like the latest earlier show, and I met a guy that was 69. You know, there was people there that had been seeing the Stones forever, so they could throw in more deep cuts, and they're not going to alienate the audience. But overall, I was pretty pleased. I got to hear some songs. One I'd never heard before. One I'd only heard twice before. 2 days in a row.
Any weird thing happened? Did anybody fuck up during the show?
That's what's funny. You know, I know they made mistakes because when the video's on, sometimes you would see like looks from the band members, Keith, and they're laughing on stage. Ronnie's running around, and Mick, they look like they're having a good time. You know, and why wouldn't they be? You know, you're 80 years old, and people say, why are they still doing it? It's like they're musicians. They're in a band. Bands want to play. It probably is fun to play where everyone hangs on your every word, sings your songs back to you.
It's amazing.
Just throws it back.
Kind of a roar coming back.
Oh my gosh, yes. And just to see it on people's faces and old people dancing, it's a good crowd. It's an old crowd, man. I mean, I'm telling you.
It's like our
the 80 and 70-year-olds on stage look younger than most of the people in the crowd. I mean,
it's because they have access to probably better skincare and whatever else.
So they started up with Start Me Up. Like, I think they've started every show I've seen since 1989, I think. When they came back with Steel Wheels.
Well, I mean, I knew they would. Yeah. She smiled sweetly from between the buttons. No, I'm kidding.
Her bed, she's so cold. I mean, I start thinking all the songs that are still.
Oh yeah, that'd be great for a song.
And then I was pretty surprised, you know, because I hadn't looked at the whole set list. It was weird. I just checked. I read about the controversy, so I just checked the last endings of all of them. But they came out with It's Only Rock and Roll. You know, the Chuck Berry arrangement they play.
Well, what do you think about that controversy before you get started down this list?
I don't think there was a controversy. I went back and watched on YouTube. It's the Sweet Sounds of Heaven that dropped. And actually, the first, I forget which first concert it was. It was right after they did the Jazz Fest. And it was the first, you know, one of the tour. And the encore, they would come back, you know, they'd end with Jumpin' Jack Flash, and everyone's like, and then they come back, and, you know, the encores these days, you know, back in the 70s, it might be 45 minutes. So you went back and hardly touched it. Nowadays, it's just pre-planned. It's 5 minutes, and they're back. So you went from Jumpin' Jack Flash to I Hear the Sweet. You know, it's a good song, but it didn't fit. And they played that, and then they went to Satisfaction.
Oh, and as the encore.
Yeah,
you just think as an encore.
So I think, you know, going on, Mick finally said, you know, this isn't working here. let's do, and they did some longer songs, like, because I looked at the length of the shows. They're the same. So there's only one encore, Satisfaction, but I'll take that. I got to hear Keith sing Little T&A. And plus, Midnight Rambler went on.
That's what you're saying.
11, 12 minutes. I mean, with some songs they can add, they never shorten. They're like, Midnight Rambler, oh my gosh, it just gets better every time.
It said You Gotta Move. They had the You Gotta Move riff in there.
Oh, yeah, they cut it in the middle. But I mean, when it's a chug, and you know how to.
I have to watch that. I just wanted to hear what you said before I did, but I'm going to go check out a full show.
And then I'll tell you, like told you, then I was really angry. I like that song on the CD live. It's just too sparse. You know what
Angry
I mean?
is?
Yeah, it's just. I think it's just opens up. It's just a guitar. It was all right. It reminded me in concert. It sounded like a Jagger. It came off a Jagger solo.
So the guitar didn't sound big enough to be like.
Yeah, it did, but the song it sounded just like it does on the album. But I guess in a car, and I'm just so excited. Wow, cool Stone song.
Yeah.
But in live, I mean, it wasn't that bad. And then I really loved "She's a Rainbow." That was when they voted on. Jagger comes up, and that's what comes up in the video. Like they show all the songs that were voted on, and they come down to the last three. Then Jagger does his little talk like Donnelly Nine. And oh my gosh, yeah, it starts out with Chuck the Bell. Boom, boom, boom. It sounds like that. I don't know if they sampled or what, but that first riff is exactly like what you hear on the Jagger. I'm sure they sampled or something. Yeah. Because I heard they sampled the cowbell off the album when they did it.
That surprised me because I've heard that little kind of effect they have with some kind of flanger.
But they just look so happy. Jagger's not stretching when he's singing that song, but the crowd was just it's one of them songs that live with the crowd around you. It works. Yeah, you just feel like, this is my tribe, the Rolling Stones.
And then Monkey Man, right?
Yeah, that was a surprise. Yeah. And that, Jagger just, I always play Jagger.
So you didn't know that was coming?
No, I didn't know that one was coming. And he hires, I forget what her name, Chantel, the one that took Lisa Fisher's place. I forget her name, but oh my God, she's as good as Lisa Fisher. And of course in Gimme Shelter, everyone's aware of that, but she's shown in my Monkey Man, and it's like mixed feeds off that. When you say, Monkey. It's like, I'm looking, this is an 80-year-old guy. He's a grandfather. And he's just like, why shouldn't he write the damn song? It's his song. But yeah, Monkey Man was a highlight. And then Tumbling Dice. And Mess It Up. It's
always a great live song, man.
Mess It Up off the new album. I don't think, I hadn't been listening to the new album that much, but when this song came on, I think I told you earlier, at first, I was thinking to myself, what album is this off of? I thought it was like, it was almost jazz. I'm gonna mess it up, and I guess the horns. You know how they change
undercover or something like that.
You know how they change arrangements, but that really fit in good.
So that was good. So that's the way they played it, kind of.
Yeah, and then you can't always get what you want when Keith's acoustics and all you hear, and then that French horn floats out. Then they always get the sing along going, and turn the lights up on everyone. And, they're thinking, we're getting it.
It's amazing how their catalog has almost like built-in perfection as far as a live show, because every show needs a crescendo and a part where everybody catches their breath.
Oh,
and then they can sing along, and then you can build it back up. And this is the perfect mellow out to build up to enjoy clap along at the end. Yeah,
oh, yeah. And I think they speed it up. They did. It's definitely, I've heard different arrangements every tour.
It's awesome.
Then Tell Me Straight, I think that's off the new album. I don't know. It's not on them late night boozy Keith sing-alongs. I'm sure I went to pee during this
one. That's when I saw there. I didn't know that one. I have the album, of course. But
I think it's off the new one. But I got to the bathroom and back quick. And little T&A, I raised my eyebrow. I'm like, wow. I've never heard, Keith, he has about 4 or 5 songs he sings. For me, I'm like, you got the silver. Let's put that in. It's like
he did play. You said he did play that on that one strip. They did.
He did on the strip. I've seen it. And the little TA, and then he plays Happy. Happy's happy.
I think I missed it when I missed it.
Happy's Keith looking happy. Every time I hear him sing that, I always think, about reading about how that song was written. It's like Nell called and Keith came up and all that. Then Sympathy for the Devil. Man, they played it straight. There was no big. That's usually like Jagger's in a top hat, everything, but it just rocked, man. Yeah. It just rocked. And then I was surprised, you know, Honky
Any
Tonk
of these are
Woman.
on course.
Yeah, Sympathy for the Devil, Honky Tonk Woman. But then what surprised me, I'm like, okay, Honky Tonk Woman, we're going to ride it all out with hits that everyone knows. Midnight Rambler, man. I mean, and just a dirty
back
Midnight
in the days
Rambler.
of Yayas, that would be a
Dirty, like
yeah, it was long too. They stretched out. And what was it? They played a lot of hardcore.
Yep. Oh, he does the harp, and then they come back in. Then Gimme Shelter, they've been playing that every tour too, and it's just you know that's usually you know Mick. The focus is on him so much as it is on Keith and the one girl that sings the part, and she just wails like, the children. And like, man, I get goosebumps thinking about, you know, as many times as I've heard that, but there's hearing it, and there's being there live, and you know, the people would say, oh, they're old, why are they playing that? I'm like, Muddy Waters play, you know, they wrote it. They're not imposters. You know, if they were like a cover band up there doing it, it would look stupid. I understand. And then Paint It Black. I think the first time I saw they played Paint It Black was, I forget, but it's been later, but they figured out that really works for some reason.
I'm saying it's real late.
It really works live. Oh, you get that sitar, keep effect, and then boom, 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 and
the backwards scroll.
And Jumpin' Jack, Jumpin' Jack Flash, which, funnily enough, I've never been that big a fan of Jumpin' Jack Flash. I mean, I like it, but. And then
everybody played it. That's why.
And then they say encore, but there's literally 5 minutes. And I've been seeing the Stones. You know, between their last song and the encore anymore is 5 minutes. It's like the lights go down, they come back. So
come right back.
Everyone was saying the controversy, they only did one encore. It's just the last song. It's not an encore. And it was Satisfaction. And, you know, they've been doing that same arrangement. It really kicks butt. It's like a locomotive train. It's faster than.
Wasn't there something about the encores about them that they would only do one?
They never used to do them.
Like at the end? Ever.
I remember, like, they didn't do. Like I think Steel Wheels was probably the first. Yes, 78. They were done. I think the last song was. I can't remember what it was. But, yeah, I mean, they came out with not much fanfare. And that's when Jagger had the vinyl pants.
Yeah.
And I remember it was in Cleveland. And the only backdrop they had was the big scrim with the lips. And there was high winds that day, so they just left the top of the lips off.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. And it was in the middle of the day. You know, they came on like 4:30, so there was no light. Oh, wow. And then they did have fireworks at the end. But now at night, I mean, they didn't have fireworks at Philly. I don't know. You know, all the times I've seen before at the end, they put off a little firework display. I always wonder if it's Jagger. I mean, he is a businessman. He's like, they still coming without the fireworks. We can take that off the bottom line. Because, like I was telling you about money, beers were 25-ounce beer was $25. So you paid $1 an ounce.
What is it again?
25-ounce can of beer.
25-ounce can of beer.
$25.
$25.
I saw a man in front of me. 8 beers.
There's no way.
$200. And then I heard one of the young kids working. This is a black guy. He goes, God dang.
See,
these old geezers are loaded.
Todd selling those cheap shirts for $30. Todd is not trying to rip anybody. This is just a corporation, you know, with a lot of mouths.
I want to get one of those Todd, the blue one. I forgot when I left. Damn, that was my favorite Todd shirt ever I had.
We from Herman.
He was selling there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, you could probably get it online.
I love his online store's terrible. It's like everything's sold out.
Is it really? He hasn't replenished.
Now the Stones, they got it all in there. I tell you what, the Rolling Stones stores, if y'all look, it's worth signing up because you get newsletters. At Christmas time, they came out with the baseball themed, the new album. You could get each team. It was a limited edition. I bought like Lisa Cheney, an Orioles one. Bought my brother the Pirates one. I got the New York Mets one. It just has Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds, I guess for the baseball, diamond. And then it had the New York Mets. Well, they were $50. Oh my! The one I own now is already going for $500 on eBay because they're like limited. It's like this stuff, but sell all your Rolling Stone paraphernalia before the Rolling Stones die or all the fans die.
Well, that's what everybody's saying. You know, boomers. You know, we're all gonna. Everybody's dead, and I hear all this stuff. And okay, but you know,
okay, if you can fill a stadium, fill a stadium. You know, no one.
There's plenty of big acts that draw a lot that I've never heard of that Sabrina and those people go to.
But the Rolling Stones, and you know, to give them credit, they're not just winging it. They're not out there for the money. I think it's keeping them alive, and they're having fun. You can tell that on stage. And Stanley Jordan, he's like, what I love about him, he didn't add one drum to Charlie's kit.
Well, not Stanley Jordan.
Or not Stanley Jordan, yeah. What's his name?
Steve Jordan.
Steve Jordan, yeah. But
Stanley Jordan's a guitar player.
Yeah, but he didn't add one drum to Charlie's kit. I never noticed that till about, I think it was the Urban Jungle Tour in Spain I was watching. And I had just seen something like some band where the drums, like they had 2 drum sets, and it wasn't the Dead, but there was like each set had so many drums, and then it was in the daytime too. You could see Charlie's kit, and I was like, wow. It's like, that's all you need.
Right. Snare drum.
And Steve
Tom
Jordan.
And a bottom tom.
And he wears a
piece.
suit with his glasses on, but
I
he's
used to
up
like
there.
to play simple drum. When I play jazz, I never played more than 4-piece. It's just too much to carry.
And Ronnie is just, he looks like he's in best shape I've seen. Even my friend Charlotte Clark said that. She goes,
well, that's cool. Was he playing good too?
Oh, yeah. He plays, you know, he get down the pedal. All the band. And Keith. And, you know, I read somewhere like Keith quit smoking in 2018, 19 anyway, he has. And I read an article where they were saying that he's finally singing in key. I'm like, I couldn't tell. But Keith himself said he had a lot more breath. And I noticed he was moving a lot more. He actually walked out. Only him and Jagger walked out the stage. You know, I think that's why they don't have the little stage that they used to walk out to. Because, I mean, fuck, my dad's 90 when he walks now. I wouldn't want him to walk out there. There's people grabbing at you. I mean, you know, someone just grabbed Jagger and he falls over. It's like,
that's crazy.
Unless they're vampires and they're going to outlive us all.
Right.
I saw a meme today. It showed Keith Richards with, you know, he's in pilgrim garb and he had a guitar and an electric amp, and the caption was, Keith Richards waiting for electricity to be discovered.
Here forever, man.
Oh, he was on number 1 on the Next to Die list.
Forever. With a bullet, I guess.
And you know what's funny about Keith is like, they all say about he lived the rock and roll lifestyle. No, Keith invented a lifestyle. He was never big on groupies. And I mean, I'm sure talked a little bit, but, you know, and he's been married since the 70s, 78 or so. Got grandkids. I love when I see his pictures. That's what I kept saying at the concert.
He seemed like he was never chasing the skirt. He was always chasing the dope man.
And Keith was up there singing, and I'd met a guy there from D.C. He'd been to a bunch of shows, and his friend backed out, so I was talking to him, and I was like, imagine that's your grandfather, Keith Richards. I said, little grandkids don't even know how they're going to be able to cash in on that later. But now, he's just a grandpa. I've seen pictures of him, you know, him and Patty at the house in Connecticut.
His daughters and their kids.
And there's Marlon. There's the one. He's my hero. Marlon freaking Richards. Yeah. What he had to put up. I mean, he basically took, have you watched the Anita Pallenberg documentary?
I haven't seen it yet.
You got to watch it. You got to watch it. It's very good. He comes.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on Prime, I think.
Okay.
Prime. You might have to rent it, but it wasn't much. But it's, you know, if you like Stones, you got to watch that. And I probably thought bad of her when I shouldn't have.
Oh, wow, man. Anyway, man, thanks, Jay, for this. You going to any other shows here soon? Any other things?
I don't have any planned. Maybe my son might want me to go see Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper in September. 70s. Yeah. Alice Cooper was the second show I ever saw. Yeah, Kiss and then Alice Cooper. Is there any wonder why I like a little bit of spectacle?
That's true.
But even Neil Young, you know,
I like
the
Alice
TV.
Cooper. Never got to see him.
He had the spectacle. You know, I remember there in the middle 80s when I would go see bands at Nashville and everything. It was like sometimes I was a little bit, that's what you wear on stage? Don't you have one flash pot? Come on, man. Turn the strobe light on. It'll add to your music. Which the Stones do in spades now. But it's all like screens. It's amazing. You know, no smoke. I just imagine all the money was saved. You know, you used to have explosions. I'm sure you got fire marshal.
So most of it's like LED
permits.
and stuff
It's
like
all LED. You want fire on stage?
Well, you know
it looks like the whole stage is on fire.
I hate to say this, man, but you can, you know, when you're looking about the LED being used in the lighting, Prairie Prince and Todd were one of the first to do that long time.
Oh, yeah.
They were, because it was on the tech mags when it came out that was new. And
Todd's always, the first don't make any money. I mean, not to say
well,
that
this is,
I think it was,
actually, I think it was Prairie and Mike Cotton's, you know.
Oh, actually, when we saw him recently, I was checking out. I was amazed at how much they could do theatrically with lights. With what they didn't have many lights, right. But I guess they're LED. They can change and just do about anything.
Yeah, they're smart about it.
That was a great show. I mean, Todd rocked out.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I was amazed that some of the people didn't like it. CW of all people didn't like it.
Well, he didn't think.
And I thought he was the one that been buying all them albums. I mean, I hadn't bought a Todd album unless you gave it to me since the Liars. He's been buying them.
That's really strange.
We know some people are if they don't know every song. It's like we were talking earlier. Like, do you see where the Eagles have a residency? They're the next residency at the Sphere.
Oh, right.
I don't even like
the Eagles.
I don't even like you two anymore. Sphere.
Be a
Vegas
act. You two did it. Great. The new Grateful Dead.
Did the Stones do it? No. You know why the Stones don't do it? Because they can make more money going city to city. I'm sure.
Right. And they don't have to consult with somebody else from the Sphere.
Exactly.
Everything.
And it's just cheesy.
Yeah.
It's cheesy. I don't care what anyone says.
Okay.
Pearl Jam's going to do it.
I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't seem like it's my thing.
But the Eagles are going to do one. I mean, how many final tours have they had?
The Eagles, man.
Who's left?
Just the only person on earth that's better than Mike Love as a person, Don Henley. The only person that's soul is more pure than Mike Love. Don Henley. He's the other.
He's the only one left. He is. I wonder if they put Joe Walsh on salary or if he's still on like double secret probation, had to go to rehab.
Did you see that last legal thing? I don't want to get started on Don Henley. We can do a separate thing, but he had a recent legal thing that was just unbelievable. He screwed it up. Yeah, he did some collusion with the prosecutor or something and messed up his own case because he just couldn't chill out.
I read what idiots they were when they were making the long run. And for some reason I bought that album. The only song I liked on that was The Freaks Don't Want No Greeks.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. But they work on that 3 years?
Yeah.
And they were talking about how he would, things being 10. That's where Neil's got it right. First take, it's the feel of the music.
Right.
Do it and go.
Todd's the same way.
Yep.
That's what you said. Todd said, what is he said? No, it's not going to be better.
It won't be better. It'll just be different. And the Stones, that's what, Jagger knows what it's like. He's not just a singer. He's like, works that crowd. He is a master.
Do you think everybody left there thinking it was worth it?
Oh, yeah. I heard no complaints. No complaints from anyone. No complaints.
And they pay
In fact, you know what's funny is like now I read where, oh my God, if we could only see the 78 tour, that's when they were really a band. They were on there and they're punking and jamming. I'm like, if people paid these prices today and saw the 78 tour, they'd be going, what the fuck? I want my money back.
Right. What is this? Right.
All they did was play music.
Right. There's nothing else, right? They didn't even have the inflatable then. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Hey, thanks to Jay. Jay was the information provider today. Nice to have him around, and nice to get this Stones review. So we will check you later with something fun. And I know we're going to be back. Jay's going to be back, and we're going to do at least a Neil Young thing. We'll try to find some other fun stuff to do here as the clock rolls on, man. Talk to y'all later. Thanks for stopping in, and remember to leave your comments. And if any of you were at the show, tell us what you thought and what you think about the Stones' new endeavors. Thanks a lot.